Hey folks, welcome to Wednesday's Market Intel Brief here at TOPGUN Options. Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz. And real quick, got a couple emails recently. If you're interested in our No Fallen Heroes Foundation merchandise, you can head to getmaverickmind.com. First of all, we have our microdosing products on that page, but we also have our merch. We got our white hat right here that I'm wearing right there. We also have a black hat, same type of thing here. You can get the Maverick Mind logo on there in white or black. Love these hats. This is the original No Fallen Heroes Foundation shirt. AJ Buckley wore this on the last season of SEAL Team. He's a great supporter of our foundation. So Sonny wore that. It's got that F-18 Hornet with our logo and a camo hat. And then we have obviously our Maverick Mind t-shirt. And also our sun hoodie, great for fishing, going to the beach and stuff like that. Although I live in the great state of Florida and it looks like the upper 48 are going to get hammered by some sort of ice storm and stuff like that. Well, we'll be at the beach. So getmaverickmind.com if you want to buy some merchandise. It goes right to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. So every dollar that comes in helps go to fund healing grants to heal our heroes at home. Okay, before we get airborne, make sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the TOPGUN Options YouTube channel so you can get all this great content. Finally, if you're interested in joining us in Sacred Ceremony, joining our entheogenic fellowship down here in Florida, head to sacredwarriorfellowship.com. You can click on retreats, scroll to the bottom, and you can see our February dates and also March. And then we'll be coming up with our Q2 dates soon. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. Man, the S&P 500 really took a round trip today. Let's go take a look at SPX. So market imploded yesterday, and people who really don't know what they're talking about would say, well, it's because of, Trump's going to attack Greenland type of stuff. They clearly don't know what happened in the Japanese bond market. So let's just leave it at that. But smooth brain people will say, oh, this was all Trump's going to invade Greenland. So we gapped down yesterday. We imploded right around here. I sent out a trade alert. I closed my bearish double vertical, a trade that I call a trudge, right? It's a trade that I'm pretty sure is going to make money, and it serves as a hedge to protect my long-term bullish positions. I closed that trade after, what was that, 3 day trading days for a 98% profit, folks. So when you get a violent move in the direction of your double vertical, in this case, bearish or down, close it, right? It's like the definition of porn. Supreme Court Justice Potter, I might not be able to define it. I know it when I see it. Well, guess what? That is a violent move in the direction of our double vertical. So I closed it. So did a lot of other TGO members. Now, I'm evaluating whether I'm going to put another bearish trudge on. Why? Because we got a lot of volatility coming. We have tech earnings. We kind of have a week of calm. This time next week will be Microsoft. Who else? Microsoft, Meta, I think are both next Wednesday. So little calm before the storm. We'll see how tech earnings do. If you think they're going to underwhelm, put another bearish double vertical on the S&P 500. There's more to come. But we're kind of in a holding pattern right now, so I'm keeping my powder dry. This morning in our Accelerated Retirement Live Trade Brief, we actually I put on an iron condor out to Friday on the S&P 500 because usually there's only violence in between those moving averages, right? These act as magnets. We either get pulled down violently to one, like we saw, or violently back up. And we kind of got the violently back up today, and then it failed, all right? So President Trump spoke today. You can see all the headlines. It's so funny. Again, you might not want to give this guy a dime, but go find a free copy of The Art of the Deal. This is how he negotiates. You go super insane crazy with your initial salvo, and then when you walk it in a little bit, the other side thinks they won something, even though you're still out here in crazy land. So Trump, today in his speech, hour-and-a-half speech, man. I mean, I kind of zoned out. I'm not going to use force to take Greenland. Nobody in their right mind really thought that. But folks, he's like the puppet master to a lot of these world leaders. He just kind of, he sets the conversation. He throws something out there. They got to react and have meetings and clutch their pearls and all sorts of stuff like that. But it's really interesting to see what's going on in Davos. Tomorrow, I'm actually driving up to Lakeland with my beautiful bride and our daughter, Keely, for her last cheer competition. She's a senior. She's turning 18, going to Ole Miss. Going to not be a dry eye for the last time we see her on the mat. Why do I bring that up? Because It's a 6-year anniversary of me being in a brief and hearing the president at Davos go, Joe Kiernan, what a dumb question. You're an idiot asking me about the China flu, the China bug. I trust Xi. Great backswing. Been to Mar-a-Lago. Love the guy. You're an idiot not coming here. I looked into this camera and I said, he's lying. Get out of the S&P 500, buy puts on it, and get long volatility. I made, TGO members saw trades that made $2.5 million in weeks. So I love seeing the Davos conference because it just reminds me of well, it was the good old days for my portfolio, but not for humanity, right? Lockdowns. Thank God I live in the free state of Florida. But kind of seeing the same thing here. The earth is shifting here. It's pretty interesting that, our European allies, are jumping through their rear end to go defend Greenland when they kind of really don't do it to the eastern part of Europe. But anyway, he's driving the fight here, folks. It's just really interesting. I think the president is waiting to get some assets into position, just like we saw before Operation Midnight Hammer, run by my brother, Dan Kane, General Raisin Kane, good buddy of mine for over 2 decades. We're 25 years known General Kane. So I think we're waiting until we get some, a carrier battle group in the region, fighters. We might see finally the end of the Iranian regime. I'm not a big guy on regime change. We suck at it. However, unlike Afghanistan or Iraq, this regime has actually killed American soldiers, sailors, and Marines. Over 600 of them were killed in Iraq by Iranian forces. So I'm not going to shed any tears if the mullah ends up getting taken out or hopping on a plane and going to Russia. We're still blockading oil to China and Cuba with our Venezuela move, which is really shifting some other dominoes. He's trying to focus on the economy. I think Scott Bessent's great. I like J.D. Vance. I like Marco Rubio. I'll tell you what, man, a Republican gay man running for president, I'd vote for that guy tomorrow. I don't care that he's gay. I'm just bringing that up because the other side of the aisle in this country is all about identity politics. I would love to see the Democrats' faces melt off if a proud conservative gay, man, he's got a loving husband. They have a beautiful family. Hey, man, it's so funny. Who cares? Who cares what you do behind closed doors with consenting adults? And it's nobody else's business, man. But I love Scott Bessent. I love seeing him in Davos, schooling world leaders and really, taking it to him. Let me scroll over to here real quick. Definium, folks. It used to be MindMed. Definium launched an educational initiative, right? Rerouting minds about LSD and MM120 and what they're going to do, because it is going to take a little bit of a campaign, folks, to get rid of the Richard Nixon war on drugs and LSD. You take it, you jump off a roof, and Nancy Reagan and just say no. Ladies and gentlemen, my position in Definium, MindMed, is up nearly 300% in a couple months. Look at this stock. Let's go. Remember, it's a new ticker, DFTX. Definium. It used to be MindMed. Wow, what a rip, man. Look at this rip. This was a $10 stock a month ago, and we're up here at 17 and a half, almost up to 18. Ladies and gentlemen, well, geez, it was a $7 stock. You've doubled your money since the summer in Definium. So buy this thing with both hands. MM120, I think is going to have some great phase 3 trials by the end of the year. We might see FDA approval on this. You see FDA approval on Definium, it's a $50 stock. Why? How can I project that? Do you not know about Johnson & Johnson's S-ketamine, the nasal spray, Spravato? $503 million in the year? No, in a quarter. Folks, this is S-ketamine. $2 billion. I thought it was $1 billion a year ago. Now they're up to a $2 billion annual run rate with Spravato. Between us ladies, the effectiveness of Spravato is like single digits or low double digits. MindMed, some of these psychedelic compounds, we're talking greater than 60-70% people. And you know what they use the word? Clinically healed. Now, that's all relative, man. I think I healed a lot of my trauma. You can't judge anybody else's healing. But ladies and gentlemen, if Spravato and Johnson & Johnson can be printing that much money on ketamine is okay and helps some people and, blah, 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 great. MM120 or some of the Healus, right? They're using psilocybin. Comp 360 over at Compass. There is or Cybin, Healus, whichever company. Folks, there are a lot of psychedelic names that are going to 2026. You might have heard this before, is going to be the year. If they push this stuff towards the end of the year, obviously 2027. But folks, you got to get in now, right? Get into these psychedelic names now. Love this headline. This is from the RAND Corporation, right? The big research body, and they do military, all sorts of stuff like that. Look at this. U.S. psychedelic use and microdosing in 2025. I think they said 60, where is it? Among U.S. adults who use psilocybin in the past year, 69% microdosed, man. That's a good thing, right? If oh my God, I hear about bad trips and this and that, and it's, psychedelics are scary. If they're that scary, after these 69% of the respondents who did psilocybin would probably never want to touch the stuff again, right? No, they do a little bit of an upkeep with microdoses, right? Absolutely great study. I love this. Psilocybin was the most used psychedelic substance with approximately 11 million adults using in the last year. Folks, that is just going to be a hockey stick and go straight up. People know about psilocybin. Obviously, a lot of people know about MDMA, ketamine, and obviously LSD. Folks, we're getting there, right? And having Definium launch like a educational push around some stuff is really, really going to help. So anyway, great stuff going on. I love the psychedelic space. Obviously, it saved and changed my life. I started our own entheogenic church, Sacred Warrior Fellowship. It was the most religious, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, experience of my existence. I was 52 at the time. I've never felt the presence of God and direct communion that I did that day. So I'm like, you know what? These are sacraments. We're going to put the ladder down. I still obviously support the legal over here type of push, but man, under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, I have religious freedom. I can practice my religion how I see fit. No human sacrifices. We're not hurting anybody else. We are using these sacred compounds, which predate Christianity, by the way, in sacred ceremony, and it is helping to save and change lives. We had a great retreat this past weekend. 6 veterans, first responders, and family members and civilians joined us in ceremony. Man, I love, the weeks after retreat, everybody's on a text thread, just people checking in daily like, Wiz, Susie, thank you, saved and changed my life. My wife is so glad to have me back finally. Man, it makes my heart smile. The world would be a much better place if more people took responsibility for their own healing. And I think that's what's going to pull us out of this nosedive this entire world is in. Okay, so getmaverickmind.com. You can try our microdosing products on there, which a portion of which goes to over the fence to the foundation to help fund retreats. And then, like I said, that is our merch, our hoodie, our hats, our t-shirts. Go check that stuff out, folks, and wear it proudly. Just throw it on social media, tag us. That would really appreciate it. That's what we need help with. People are like, I don't have a lot of money to donate. Hey, man, that's great. Just help us spread the healing message of No Fallen Heroes Foundation and Sacred Warrior Fellowship. And these are conversation starters, man. I love wearing this stuff. People are like, what's that? And you could lay it on them, right? From supersonic to psychedelic, okay? All right, guys, I got to get going. I'll be back on Friday with Friday's market wrap-up. I'll debrief the Iron Condor that I put on this morning in our accelerator retirement on the S&P 500 out to Friday, which is looking pretty good right now. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi, Wiz out.